Hustle and flowchart.
What is up, everybody? Matt Wolf here with the Hustle and Flowchart podcast. I'm here with my business partner, Joe Fear, and today we're bringing back a second-time guest. Today we've got Aaron Fletcher on the show, and Aaron's first episode with us, all about how to pretty much automate everything in your life, has been our single most popular episode of the podcast to date. And since he's been the most popular episode, you guys have voted basically. You've basically told us this is the guy we want to hear more from, so we're bringing him back again for a second episode. Now, I need to warn you about this episode. This one's going to be a little bit more on the silly, fun side because we went to lunch and we had a few beers before we recorded this podcast, and then we were actually drinking a few beers while recording this podcast. Kind of the first time we've ever done a podcast like that, where we were, we had a little buzz going and we drank some beers while we were doing the podcast. Haven't done that before. So this one's going to be a little interesting. We do get a little silly and goofy at times, but it's fun and there's a lot of great, valuable takeaways. Aaron has just a killer membership site that he's putting in, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new members every single month. So we wanted to take this opportunity to pick his brain on exactly how he's building, how he's loading up his membership, how he's retaining members, pretty much everything around how he has such a successful membership site. And, he gives us some of his Facebook ad strategies, some of his retention strategies, some of the, the angles that he takes on promoting his membership site. It's a very, very wide-ranging, very sort of buzzed, had a few beers in us conversation. So it should be fun, it should be entertaining, but it also should be super educational, because once you get a couple beers in Aaron, he's going to be open to telling you about anything in his business, and this one was perfect. So enjoy. Here's episode 45, How to Build and Grow a Thriving Online Membership with Aaron Fletcher. All right, so we're here with Aaron Fletcher, our first ever repeating second-time guest.
Technically, it's a trifecta.
Yeah, technically it's the third time we've had him.
It's a
Right.
Tri-Fletcher.
Ooh, I like that. Good branding.
This is actually the first time we've done a podcast with beers.
Well, that's on video.
That's on video, at least.
Beer cast.
That anybody else knows about.
Beer
A
cast.
local
Cheers.
Swamis. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Here's to all the dead marketers.
Yes, Denmarkers.
Can I pour some out?
I don't think
in the middle of
Fletcher
Aaron's
like that.
office.
Gary Halbert.
So yeah, we're hanging out in Encinitas, California. North
Great
Cen-
lunch at we had a paleo vegan lunch.
Oh yes, with the
Gluten-free.
buffalo.
Sure,
and
if we want to call it that. With my French
Gluten.
fries and my cheeseburger.
And we did 2 CrossFit classes back to back just to prep for the podcast.
cross
right?
fat. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And we'll do CrossFit later.
Joe will, at
I'll
least.
probably die.
I'm going to go home and probably have another beer later while Joe's at CrossFit.
Oh man.
I'll send him a text.
How you feeling, bro? So, what are we doing here?
This is why I want to have
Why
a
do
Joe
we-
Rogan-style podcast where we just talk about whatever pops up, but our listeners wouldn't probably listen to
I like Joe Rogan. It's good.
Rogaine, yeah.
No,
you
today-
need some Rogaine. Speaking of that, you see
shit.
the back of your head.
Oh shit! Hold on a second.
No, you're looking all right. All right, cool.
Thanks.
You're fine. You're
He's
fine.
still-
I just wanted to
he's still
check.
Does this camera really add 30 pounds?
Yeah.
No, you're just pushing it out.
We got to figure out how much of this we're actually going to edit out later and how much of this we're going
Nothing.
to keep.
All of it.
You love this, right?
This is live without a net. I mean, the amount of value we've provided in the first 5 minutes is worth the price of admission alone.
Well, this might go
All
on
right.
our customer flash drive so they can see us
That is totally
screwing
cool.
around.
I'll
but
edit this, mate. I offer to edit this. We won't
right.
even have a
we
Tiga.
won't even pass this one through Tiga.
No,
All right. Sorry, Tiga.
he's our podcast editor.
Yeah.
By the way,
So what we wanted to talk about today was actually membership sites, because you have probably one of the most successful membership sites that we are aware of with the Fletcher Method.
Yep, and you're aware of like 3.
roughly.
Well, we've got the EGP letter, the Fletcher Method.
I think that's about it, right?
Are
Maybe
there
there's
other
one more.
membership sites?
I think there's a couple membership sites out there. Yeah, and I think
Netflix.
mine's
right?
like the second best.
Okay, so
What's the
Netflix
first?
and then you. Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix would be first, and then comes the Fletcher Method.
What about
Yeah.
Hulu? Hulu's like fourth.
No.
that's all Cosby reruns, and that's kind of creepy these days.
No one likes them these days.
Just take the pill.
Oh, man.
So, what the hell is the Fletcher Method?
So the Fletcher Method is a method of acting like you have your own method for doing something.
Well played, sir.
No, it's basically we have a membership where we just help people that are trying to launch online businesses get from 0 to 10K with an automated marketing system. So it's folks that are typically entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, software companies, and they just haven't been able to piece it all together. So you guys remember, it's hard to remember when you guys started out because you guys have been doing this for 10 years now, right?
Right. Yeah.
When you started out, when I started out, I was like, oh, I bought this course, went to this seminar, went to the product that and the launch this and bought all these courses for $2,000, but I couldn't piece it together into a strategy. So I just said, what if I put it into a to B strategy where people can get their customer and their message and their offer and their funnel and their traffic all in one place. Little did I know it would take a lot longer to get it right, and it was about 3 years of struggling with it, but lately it's been working out really well.
Nice. So with the Fletcher Method, how are you putting new members on? Because when it comes to membership programs where it's like a monthly or an annual fee, that's probably the hardest thing in the world to sell.
Yep.
So what is sort of the sort of tactics, advice you'd give people on selling a membership?
Yeah, it's a good point. There's 3 things that I think right now, given that we're drinking beer, I can probably remember one of them, is the first thing is to not sell a membership, is to sell an outcome, right? So most membership sites are like a grocery store where you're selling content, and everyone said content is king. I think that's kind of bullshit because there's no shortage of content. Nobody needs content. They're drowning in content. They need context. So most memberships, and I have a lot of friends that have 7 and even 8-figure memberships that do that well, and I think that's for more advanced people that know what they want. They know how to get there. Like my friend James Schramko said, my membership is like a grocery store. People come in, they know what they want. They can get content about anything that they want. How to do memberships, webinars, content marketing. But my folks are more like they don't really know what they want. Like when I go to a grocery store, I buy Twinkies, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's obvious.
It's just, cool. It's just, sorry, it's the camera. It's about giving. So what we do, the number one lesson is give people a pathway instead of a product. Just say, you're coming here to get an outcome. And the fact that we charge for a membership, we don't sell it as a membership. We say it's an alternative to paying a high price up front. Right. So when you finance a car, you think you're buying a car, but you could say, no, that's like a membership. It's a recurring payment.
Yeah.
So it's about giving people several $1,000s in courses or products and saying, no, you can pay monthly. Right.
Got it.
The second thing is don't believe what all the experts tell you, because everybody in the marketing space said you can't sell a recurring product up front. People just want to buy one time.
Right.
And it's just, you can't fake it, because if you have the bottom line with memberships, if you have a shitty product, people are going to cancel.
Right.
So what you're doing is, this is the SaaS company, the SaaS model, right? If you have a good product, you want to get as many people as you can to experience the product.
Right.
If you have a shitty product, you want to charge as much as you can with no refund policy.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to say it's $2,000, and once you open it, I'm going to go away, and you're not going to ever get a refund. So I was just like, I spent 2 years selling something for $1,000 one time, and I was like, and I barely made a living at it. And I said, what if I just jack it all the way down to like $49 where they can get access, no content dripping, everything. And then the hard part was making cold traffic work. So
Right.
getting the offer right was first, and then the cold traffic was a different animal.
Yeah. So it's kind of the angle of, look, if you're anything like us and other marketers out there, you're probably buying at least 1 or 2 new courses every month. Stop doing that and just come to me. I'll just provide all that for you.
Well, and what you're providing are like frameworks and these exact blueprints,
Yeah, that's another thing. Is how far away should I hold this?
Yeah, right around here.
Okay,
Right.
so
Or that.
Like this.
that's another thing was what's out there is not only noisy, but people don't bundle frameworks with their training or templates. So what I do is, instead of creating a training course, I start with creating like a 1-page cheat sheet for the whole course. Like here's a Facebook ads thing. I mean, here's how it's a really dense, like 1-page framework. Here's how you do a webinar. Here's how you do Facebook ads. Here's how you do lead magnets, whatever. And then it made creating not only for me, it was a huge hack, because then I could just create videos for, like, let's say you create a framework, like here's the 6 steps to a webinar. Then I was like, okay, well, cool. I'll create 6 videos, and every video points back to the framework. But then the customers love it because they're like, yeah, now I can print this thing out and put it in front of me, and I have my whole strategy right in front of me instead of you don't retain. What good is watching 10 videos for 10 hours if you don't actually retain it?
Right.
And
having those printed frameworks, because we've done the same thing, is give them a system, something in 1 month, at the EGP letter. We'll say, hey, put this on your wall or put it right in front of you on your desk.
The Evergreen, what do you call it? The Evergreen blueprint? Evergreen
I
Profits
don't know what the hell
blueprint?
we call it, actually.
What do we call it? Well, when we send out our newsletter, we send out a flow chart.
It's a flow chart, but we call it like our marketing stack or something like that.
The hustle flow chart of Evergreen.
Yeah, I think it's our
Wisdom.
Evergreen Profits flow chart. I don't know.
But it shows how everything's connected, the kind of the systems involved, and then how you can kind of.
It's a framework, but we call it the flow chart. Yeah,
So it's basically an Evergreen digital knowledge craft blueprint.
Sure.
yes,
I like that.
That's
We'll
exactly-
trademarked.
We'll TM that later.
Yeah, TM.
So I mean, so with anybody with a recurring product, I think the big thing is like they're daunted by the how to sell this thing, and you've perfected the cold traffic part of it, and I'm curious to wonder like, okay, what's your process there? Like, what's your cold traffic source? Kind of what's your process? How do you actually do this effectively in ROI?
That's actually a great question. It took me a long time to do it, and it's so simple that a lot of people won't believe how simple it is. So here's the benefit of, remember I said create those frameworks in your membership when you're delivering content? Well, wait a minute. I said, since I've created that framework, if I go and put that into cold traffic as a Facebook ad, a Google ad, Facebook ad, Twitter ad, then you're like, okay, well, what people want, let's just face it, as human beings, we want quick fixes. We want to download, to have. We want to solve a problem quickly and easily. We don't want, like, no one would respond to a Facebook ad that said, here's a 5-hour training, on how to tie your shoes. People want the quick fix. So what I realized is if I take all the frameworks from my membership, so to speak, and I simply put those into Facebook ads, now, and I learned this from Digital Marketer, right? They had DM Labs, a membership.
Yep.
And what they would do is they realized they had different avatars. Certain customers want different solutions, different problems they're trying to solve. So instead of constantly advertising DM Labs, they said, well, since we have a training on YouTube, let's take a YouTube cheat sheet or a blogging cheat sheet. So everything I advertise is around taking the visual aspect of the framework, the cheat sheet, the template, giving them that, and then the offer is the same. So if I advertise, here's a Facebook cheat sheet. Okay, download it. I'm glad you like it. By the way, get in this webinar. I'm going to show you how we use Facebook ads. Here's a webinar cheat sheet. Download it. By the way, I'm going to show you how we use that, right? So let me see if this is...
So what you're saying is if somebody was to just watch for all of your Facebook ads, they could essentially get all of your courses for free?
Yeah.
Well, I think so take that, everyone, and go watch.
Make sure this wasn't
the Fletcher Method. No, it's all right.
Uber driver.
No, but that's actually, Matt, if we're talking about, that videos, we've done some Facebook ads now of us scrolling through our PDFs, which are some giveaways. And that's really effective because people just, for some reason, they love this scrolly PDF thing. It's literally just like a screen capture flowing through.
That's a weird thing I do in my ads, too. The more visual and visceral and attainable and physical, those ads work better. So all my members, we have almost 3,000 members, and they always challenge, well, I'm going to try this ad instead. I'm going to try this Facebook ad. And I say, no, the whole lean methodology is don't think what you're doing is right. Test. So I'm like, cool. Let me know how it works. And I've never had someone beat the ads that I recommend. They use pictures of themselves. They use pictures of, you see all these ads right now for Facebook agencies, and it's like a picture of a horse or a dog. And I'll say, what are you trying to tell us? If you're a Facebook agency and you're using clickbait, right? Getting clicks doesn't mean getting customers. So you're paying actually more for that traffic. You can't celebrate a high click-through rate if it's 12-year-old kids that are clicking on a cat that don't have a business, right?
Yeah.
So the ad strategy is take a physical thing that solves one problem that your customers have, and then stretch the gap between that and your whole membership or your whole product that you solve. Show them where that lives in your greater kind of solution, and then offer them, and instead of selling, join our membership. Again, just say, instead of paying $2,000 for this course, you can get all of our courses for $49. Just make it a ridiculous offer. Gary Halbert said, your offer, maybe Dan Kennedy said, your offer should be so good that somebody in the Midwest, I guess people still live there.
I don't know what. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Sorry.
Didn't Joe live in Chicago?
I did.
I'm from Cleveland.
Yes.
I'm from Cleveland.
Burn.
You got a problem? No, so that somebody in Cleveland would get off the couch, put on their slippers, walk out their front door in the snow to their mailbox to get your product.
That's right.
So it should be so irresistible. So I was like, if I took $1,000 offer and made it $49 to get people access, then the conversion rate goes up so much. Then you have a good problem to solve. Think about it. What problem are you solving then? Keeping customers. How do you keep customers? By having a non-shitty product. Like nothing's going to make up for a crap product. Right.
Yeah.
So this whole opposite of, when I talk about gurus, they said, well, you're a guru too. You sell stuff online. It's like, no, to me, what a guru is someone who spends 90% of their budget and time promoting shit instead of creating stuff. Tesla doesn't have to worry about their direct response strategy.
Right.
Actually, the cars are all falling apart now. Shit.
Now they are. But
Bad
for a very
example.
long
Shit.
time, they had a great,
Didn't. Yeah.
they have a great product. Yeah. So mainly you're working with Facebook ads then is really where your cold traffic is coming from.
Yeah, we're trying to push out to places like YouTube, B2B email, LinkedIn. But the issue there is, especially with Facebook ads, we should probably talk about how to make Facebook ads work.
There you go.
That's a big
Definitely.
thing. Is focus 90. This sounds cliche, but focus 99% energy on the offer and the hook. People are trying to tweak. They're like, oh, let me split test. Let me get Ad Espresso and try a video ad versus an image ad versus this versus Frank Kern versus Amy Porterfield.
Right.
And they're trying to iterate and split test on a bad offer. So I run one ad, and it usually works. And it's very seldom that I have to switch it out because I'm thinking about the messaging and the offer, connecting the audience to something that they really need. And there's a strategy for that. Since we're just drinking beer, I should talk about that too.
Let's talk about that.
I was going to ask, how do you know if that's the right offer?
So what I do is I talk about the category versus the currency. And this is really nerdy and people freak, like, what are you talking about? But most people describe their business based on a category of a vertical or business. What do you do? They go, I'm a stockbroker, I'm a lawyer, I'm a coach. And nobody gives a shit about what you do. But the currency is we force all of our customers before they place an ad, before they create a webinar, to get clear on their target market, their message, and their offer. The message is, what's the currency? The one currency. So it's like using the ask method, for example. If you ask your clients 10 problems they're having with their online marketing, with their social media, with their podcast, with their body fat, I mean, not me, but whatever category of business you solve, I'm helping you with investments, with your traffic, with your confidence, whatever it is. And you go to an audience, say, what's your biggest problem with that? And they give you a list. And then you take that list of problems and you go to your audience and say, if I could solve one of these problems in the next 90 days, which would it be? That's your currency. It could be so people use categories like I'm a business consultant or a coach. It's like, no, I have a currency. And my currency, is it traffic? Is it ROI? Is it profit? But I pick one. Most of us don't want to leave stuff on the table, so they go, I help you with your business growth, your traffic, your leads.
So it's very vague.
What's one?
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you help them with their profitability? Do you help them with their scale? Do you help them with their number of new customers per month? So my first kind of message went from, I'm an online marketing coach, to I help you double your sales in 90 days without tech overwhelm, right? That was number one. And now I can say I can help you launch and scale a 6-figure business without ever buying another overhyped guru course again. Like that's kind of for our course products. Like, what am I going to help you do? A specific metric, a specific timeline. That's my currency.
Yeah. So if you have the Evergreen Profits Letter and the Fletcher Method, then you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Correcto.
Yeah. If we said the Fletcher Green Profits Leather, that'd be weird.
Leather.
Oh, Freudian slip.
That works.
No,
We'll brand it.
I'm saying like it's what we do with our customers, we break everything down into the foundation, the funnel, the floodgates, 3 steps. 90% is the foundation, as you guys know.
Yeah.
What do all the marketing products sell? The floodgates, the traffic.
Yep.
Short-term
The tactics.
Instagram, profit hacks. Everything has to have 3 worlds.
That's
like
right.
online Pinterest ninja
There you
or
go.
super email profits.
Or
like,
Evergreen Profits Letter.
No, but it's really a letter. No, it is a letter.
It is a letter,
letter,
so
so
that's
okay.
legit.
Okay, actually, you're describing what it is, which is real. Most people say like overnight cash social.
You know,
ATM.
one of my first products I ever launched was called the Autopilot Cash Formula.
Oh, you are
It's
a
always
scammer,
three.
Matt. Of all scammers I've
Dude,
ever
it's
seen
always
before.
3. It's like the product. It started with the product launch formula.
That's right.
And then it's like the social ninja
Mass
traffic,
control. No,
online
that's
video.
That's two. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you say like mass butt control, you can miss it.
Then we got an issue.
And there's an FTC issue.
no,
Oh, yeah.
Besides, Joe's already mastered that.
Yeah.
Hey now, Tika,
Dudes.
please edit that
Yeah.
out.
You guys, I don't know why 3 fellas can't get together
That's
without.
what happens when beer gets cracked.
So,
All right, so yes,
yeah.
carry on.
So that was just it. It's like the message is super clear, but here's what's ninja I found out, and this happened by accident. It wasn't architected. It happened by accident. I just said I struggled so much with advertising. So what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this freaking working? I spent all this money on Facebook ads, and then I kept going back to these foundational things. Do I speak to the right audience with the right message and the right offer? Now here is no shit. The one thing, like if this machine breaks, which hopefully it does soon, before people start.
We have a couple backups here,
weird.
so I think we're good.
Yeah, is what we call the signature solution.
Mm-hmm.
That changed everything. And what it is, if you look at the Fletcher Method, instead of us describing our membership or our product, it's a one-page map, right? I could show you on our Facebook group, our membership, every one of our customers is required, not asked, required to create a map that depicts what they do. The message, the problem they solve, like literally you'll see, it's really cool. One gal teaches people how to be professional cheerleaders. Another one is financial advisors. Another one is like mindset or relationship coaching. Another one might be lead generation for chiropractors. They all create a visual one-page pathway or map that shows their customers, here's how we get you from here to here with the currency that matters to you, leads, profits, confidence, wealth, love, whatever it is, in this fixed amount of time, 30 days, 90 days, 1 year. And what that does is, I didn't expect this, and I have to say I learned this from experts like Frank Kern with the launch with Neil Strauss, the relationship model.
Yeah.
Taki Moore, I was part of his mastermind. He teaches this. He learned it from a guy named Matt Church in Australia, who's a ninja at IP. It's like turning your thoughts into a visual model. Once I learned that, I said, well, wait a minute. That is the Facebook ad. That is the membership. That is the webinar. So like all of our customers take what they know, put it into a visual map, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, wait a minute. You advertise that on Facebook. Well, wait a minute. What's the Facebook headline? How to get here and from here to here in this amount of time without that stuff you hate.
Right.
So how to double your leads without buying paid traffic, how to lose 20 pounds without giving up beer. Here's the weight loss roadmap or blueprint. Yeah. So you create the map, that's the Facebook ad. And then my first epiphany was like, that's cool. We just figured out how to do paid traffic for any industry. And then the real aha moment when I said, well, if you're going to do a webinar, guess what? Those are the 3 sections of your webinar, the map.
That's all the teaching, yeah.
And what do you do in your map? You say, I'm going to show you this, how to get from here to here in this time. This is your webinar. Here's the 3 main struggles people have. You know, this is like Russell's, what's it called?
Perfect webinar.
Perfect webinar.
Yeah.
And then here's the 3 main steps to get what you want, how to do, or what to do. That's your map. So you show them the map. And guess what? Then at the end of the webinar, you say, I showed you what to do. If you want to know how, buy my stuff.
Yeah. Call to action.
And then it got deeper. This is like the fucking Matrix. And then it became, well, how do I go from one-on-one coaching or consulting or agency to delivering a leverage program? And I said, it's the map. You take the map and create training products and frameworks. Now your customers can go through training, and then you can come and show up and tweak that. You know, so what do one-on coaches or consultants do? They answer the same damn question for the 100 people. Why can't you answer 100 questions for 100 people and everyone gets benefit? So it's like you take that map, use it to get customers, you use it to qualify customers, because if you're going to interview a prospect, you're going to ask them how you do in all these areas. And then when you serve customers, you can give them frameworks and training to do all the heavy lifting, and then show up as a coach once a month or twice a month and just tweak it. Like if one of my steps is like Facebook ads, if I can give you a Facebook ads framework and show you exactly how to set up your ads, you let your ads run for a week.
Hell yeah.
I can come in and look at your ads. The click-through rate is too low. The relevancy score is too low. the conversion rate's too low. Fix those, come back. Right? A really long answer, but the big takeaway is creating a map, no matter what industry or whatever product or service you sell, create a visual model that represents what you do.
That's interesting. Yeah. So with that, and you were saying that you sell most of your products with, or all the products with webinars, right?
Yep.
So that's like the mechanism that you use then after you get
Pretty
that
much.
lead.
And I think you told us earlier that you use mostly Russell Brunson's sort of perfect webinar formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that works out well as far as like.
It works great. Yeah. What we do is we use something for our members. So the foundation, right, is your audience, your message, your offer. Your offer is kind of like a visual map and a price around that. The funnel is the second step. And what I have something called the perfect funnel finder, or the 5-minute funnel finder, tongue twister. And it's webinars for me, but for you it might not be. So we just look at edit that out.
Beer.
What's your
Beer.
wait, take a quick break.
Take a sip. Wash it down.
What is your industry pricing? What's your pricing, your business model? And quite frankly, what's your experience level? Because for me to tell a beginner in online marketing to go to an Evergreen launch, they're not going to get it right. They're not going to hold people's attention through 4 hours of video. But yeah, by the same token, if you're selling a $2,000 coaching program, a video sales letter is not going to do it.
No.
They need a webinar that drives people to a sales call. So there's these frameworks, as you guys know, in all of online marketing, there's probably 3 to 5 core funnels, like a VSL, a webinar funnel, a coaching agency consulting funnel to drive someone to a call. And then there's other tertiary, second, like quiz funnels and things that are more advanced.
Funnel, whatever.
But the biggest breakthrough for people is focus on one that's right for your business. You see it all the time. People are like, my product's $12. I'm doing a webinar. You're like,
No.
Webinar for $12 month.
Lose money.
Yeah. You're probably not going to make that profitable with advertising.
Unless you have some monster upsell that really converts.
yeah, it's $12 now, but for $12,000, we'll also give you a car.
Yeah. And our expenses on that car are $11,000.
Oh my god.
It's all about revenue.
So with so we were talking. I don't know if we need to edit this out or if you're okay talking about it, but
What?
I think you were telling us earlier that you're putting about 600 people a month into your membership.
Say what?
Oh, by the time they listen to this, hopefully it'll be like 612.
I'm looking at 100 a day on the board.
That's
I'm
my
assuming
goal.
that's your goal. Yeah.
That's the goal, dude.
So there you go.
I think, as crazy as it sounds,
That's not crazy.
is that 3,000 a month?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
That's my crazy goal. My big
So-
hairy goal. Everyone needs a big hairy audacious goal. I want you to take your goal and 10x it and see how you'd accomplish that.
All right. So our goal. Let's talk about this because you can just like consult for us for free while we're doing this podcast right now.
We're selfish.
We'll work for beer.
We'll work for beer. You bought us actually.
You bought the beer.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
After the $100 bar tab.
That's
it's
good.
more,
Other
yeah.
than the 3 beers
More
we
than
bought
that,
you before
bro.
this. No. So our big goal before the end of 2017, which we're recording this right now on November 2nd, 3rd?
Sure.
Whatever.
3rd.
Beginning of November, our goal was to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year.
Yep.
So if you were us and you had a membership site with a print newsletter,
Yep.
which you have something similar without the print newsletter, what would you do to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year?
Okay. The first thing I would do is reverse engineer that number. Obviously, it's easy to do. So between now and December 31st, there are 60,
We'll call
70,
it 60
74
days.
days. 60 days. Let's just say you take
60-ish days, yeah.
let's just take the next week and just think about it and fuck off. Right?
Why not?
60 serious days. That's how I like to do it. I like to work in sprints. Yeah. So it's for 60 days. How many customers would you need to acquire? How many members do you have now?
We've got it. We're around 300-ish, so we need about 700 members.
700 members divided by 60 days is 42.
Oh man.
You're gonna make us do math
This
live?
is your game. I
Yeah,
can't
so
use
the-
my phone. It's
okay.
recording a video right now.
All right, so I'll tell you. So let's just do another exercise. This is actually
Someone
really fun.
listening to the podcast has already figured it out.
Right.
And is shaking their heads at us very
No.
aggressively in their
Well,
car.
I know, but those are the people that usually take too long to implement, right? The perfectionists.
Let's just say it's roughly 12 members a day.
But
Matt's probably right.
divided by 60. Oh, yeah, 11.6. You bastard.
See,
You're
Matt's
not
one of
good.
those guys.
Okay, so
He implements fast.
so here's what I'm going to. So let's talk about the numbers, the metrics, and the tactics.
Uh-huh.
So a couple things I need to know to get 12 members a day, and I'm going to say, well, what's the offer I'm going to sell? I think I told you earlier off camera and video. So I said, okay, well, to sell in a webinar, it has to make sense metrically. You can't sell in a webinar if your membership is just, even if you want your first payment, even if you know your average member stays for well over a year. I mean, you have a great stick rate for your letter. You have a cash issue. If you're not externally funded, you can't say, I can pay $10,000 this month to acquire $100,000 worth of customers, but I don't get any cash back for 6 months.
Right.
You don't have that float because you're internally funded. So you have to break even the first month. So to do that, there's 2 ways to do that. Increase the incremental customer value by bundling the letter with other added value. Like, hey, I'm going to give you these 2 courses that we've sold for 2 years for $1,000. And on the webinar, you create a visual map about how to get results in something like content marketing. So you don't make it about your letter. You say, this is the 90-day, the way to generate 2 to 10 times more leads without paid advertising. This is a content marketing roadmap. You educate them on that map you created, and you say, I showed you what to do if you want to know how to do it. We have this course and this letter. We're going to send you the best content and affiliate online marketing strategies. Instead of charging you the $2,000, you can get it now for $100. So you increased, instead of $100, you make that like $300. The second is to sell frequency up front and reward people to increase the lifetime value, or at least the upfront cash flow, by saying, you can get it for $99 a month, or you can get it for $500 a year. So it's about half off. So now I can sell that on a webinar, but instead of trying to sell a letter, I'm selling the result a letter provides, which is how to create a thriving online business and get, look over the shoulder of 2 successful entrepreneurs in their experiments and guest writers. And basically you're curating the absolute best strategies on the web into the most condensed, power-packed piece of content and delivering it to your doorstep every month. And so that's how you can use cold traffic, as getting it away from the newsletter, making sure the offer is a lot. And guess what you're going to advertise on Facebook? Not the newsletter, that content marketing cheat sheet, roadmap, blueprint. And then you just tie it into, so you bundle, if you have software, you bundle it with education. If you have education, you bundle it with products or software. It's like, how do you solve more of the customer's problems by increasing the incremental order value with stuff that you already have available?
Got it. And that's similar to what we're kind of starting to do, I guess. With our, we're playing with the annual offer. We're also bundling it with some $1,000 products that we have. So yeah, I guess it's stick on the same path.
Yeah, keep going down the same path. We're not actually pitching cold traffic into webinars that pitch a specific outcome.
Right.
We've got a webinar that pitches our content marketing course. If you don't buy the content marketing course, then the next selling point is the letter.
Right.
But I think some of the advice you were giving us earlier when we may or may not have been sitting at a bar was
the bar method fitness gym. Yes.
Bar method.
CrossFit.
Yeah, when we were at the bench pressing and stuff. We were.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah, bench pressing. We were all working out together.
Sounds like us.
Hardcore.
We were talking about how we had a webinar that pitched our $1,000 course. If you didn't buy the $1,000 course, then we pitched the newsletter. And you were saying, you know what, just go straight for the outcome that you want.
Yeah, you don't want to say, like, if you don't want to buy a Tesla, here's a keychain. Right? You want to say, like, you want to take them kind of up that ladder, in my mind, because if you have really good stuff like you do, I mean, think about it. People love your letter.
Right.
So the goal is to get as many eyeballs as you can on the letter. Well, the problem when you do free trials to do that is you get the wrong customer who's only there to get a free letter.
Totally.
But if you go from a webinar and you offer, like, let's just say your Evergreen Profits book, the minimum barrier to create a customer is like a $5 book. Well, then you said, well, when you upsell people to a trial of the letter, they cancel. Then upsell them to the normal $99 subscription. From the book.
So we'll probably have a lower conversion rate, but a lot higher retention rate.
As long as there's an ROI, you can scale. Like I'm looking for that first month for you to break even. At worst. And like, what Alex Becker does, the way his formula is very simple. He just has his advertising metrics down where he can wait 3 months on the cash. He has enough cash. So basically what Becker would do is just say, hey, I know my numbers. I know the average. It's about knowing your numbers. I know the lifetime value of a customer is X. I know the monthly recurring revenue is Y. I know the acquisition cost is Z. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 3 months up front and lose money, and then the third month I start making money. Well, that's hard to do if you don't know your numbers or if you don't have a lot of cash. So breaking even is not a bad thing. So if your average cart value, I mean, that's what I did with this offer was I realized that if 40% of the people pay up front, $297, the rest pay $49 and they stick around for 5, 6, 7 months. And then maybe there's one upsell. So the average cart value is like 200 plus. I'm like, wait a minute. Even if I spent $200 to acquire a customer, I'd still make money on the back end.
Sure.
And that allows me to have control and actually spend, I think I spent $2,000, $3,000 a day for September, $2,000 a day for October because I've got a better formula down. But, when I first started Facebook ads, $100 a day freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
It scared the hell out of me. And I was doing all this day trading stuff and turning stuff on and off. And I realized, I have ad sets for $500 to $2,000 a day, and I don't look at them for a week because Facebook is optimizing to get me customers and people into my shopping cart. And I just saw a post today from a little dude that was like, don't trust Facebook. They want to take your money. They don't.
Yeah.
They need it to work. They need to have the best user experience, which is why they look at relevancy score. If you have a low relevance score, then you have a bad ad and a bad user experience, and they tax you or stop your ads.
Right.
But if you provide a high relevance, meaning people like your stuff, they want you to spend more money. They want you to ROI. They have the world's most sophisticated algorithm and machine learning system to get you results.
Yeah, no, I believe that too because we were running some ads where we were pumping $100 a day through one specific ad, and I actually turned that ad down to where we were running like $6 a day, and it actually started converting better.
Yeah,
because we were actually putting less money, and what was happening was Facebook they try to optimize for the budget you give them.
They do.
So if you try to give them a small like $6-7 budget a day, they're going to try to figure out how to get you as much customers as possible from that $6 or $7.
If you go on, they are, but by the same token, people think if you increase your budget, they're going to make you spend that budget. That's true in the short term until they calibrate. So the way Facebook's algorithm works, there's a learning phase and an optimization phase, which means a lot of people don't know this. This is actually, let me give you a huge takeaway for Facebook ads for everybody. You need your daily budget to get at least 7 to 10 of your desired events, conversions. So what does that mean? If you pay $5 for a lead, if you can't go and spend $50 a day, then you need to bid on clicks. Because they have a new setting where you can tell Facebook bid on clicks until you get enough learning.
Yes. Did you see the Digital Marketer article where they tested that?
Yeah, it works.
Well, they actually tested it and said that they actually got a better ROI when they didn't turn that setting on.
But they probably had enough budget where they had the setting, they just tested the setting for the same budget. They already had enough budget to get enough leads per day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a beginner.
Yeah, no, so I agree. What we've always done, and I think this is the same along the same lines as what you're talking about. What we've always done is we've run an ad, and we'll start if it's a brand new ad we're just turning on. We'll start it by a post engagement. We just want to get engagement on that ad.
That's called priming the pump. What Mike and Josh call it. Yeah.
So you try to get engagement on that ad for the first week or so, and then once you're getting some likes and shares, you're going to have some clicks on it. Inevitably, you're going to have some clicks on it. Yep. So once you have a handful of clicks, you change it to now I'm going for clicks.
Yep.
Right. Once you've had a bunch of clicks and it's working, then you go to optimize for conversions.
But you have to do it within that same ad set.
Right.
So 90% of the learning is within a given ad set. So what I learned is bid on whatever you can afford to get 10 a day of, whether it's likes and shares, clicks, conversions. But the biggest takeaway is keep one ad set running. Don't specify placements. The gurus tell you to do newsfeed or mobile. Open it up. Every condition you put as a constraint for the algorithm. If you say only run my ads on Mondays to people that are this gender, this age. I mean, obviously, if you're selling penis lotion, it has to be for guys, right? But
depends on what the penis lotion's end result is for.
Say the times are changing.
I mean, if it's penis lotion because you're real dried up down there, you probably just aim it towards men. If it's penis lotion because it's more pleasurable, you probably want to advertise to both.
Absolutely. Let's just call it.
Matt's an expert at
Let's just call it mutual enjoyment shaft cream. So if you're advertising, you might have a demographic like men's running shoes, and again, Bruce Jenner could buy them.
Sure.
But for anybody, so you might have a product that's clearly don't be stupid about it. Like if you only sell a men's product, then filter it out. But in general, the rule of constraints is if you open it all up and you tell Facebook, here's a lookalike audience of 10 million people or 2 million people that are like my best customers. That's all you need to do. And if you have a good funnel and a good offer, you open up, you don't specify where the ad runs, how long the ad runs for, or the placements. And I've found that over time, here's the big rub. People don't let their ads run. This takes 7 to 10 days. Most people turn off their ads before they see the results.
You just got to be patient.
Yeah.
And you have to have the budget and be real with yourself. Like, you can't test an audience you can't run 5 different ad campaigns if you have like $20 a day.
Yeah.
You have to do something for a week and then do something else for a week to try to beat the performance. You can't split test 10 different variables at once. That takes a huge budget. And most people don't understand statistical relevance. That's big rule number 2. They don't understand that you would need 10,000 of something to establish relevance. 1,000 is 90% accurate. 100 is what we do as ghetto advertisers. Like, got 100 leads, here's my conversion rate.
Got lucky.
Because we don't have big numbers. But most people get 10 leads and they go, I'm paying too much per lead, or I didn't get any appointments, or I didn't get any conversions on my webinar. And they stop everything when they have to understand statistical relevance. Like, it takes a long time for the stuff to settle in and work.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. I think Facebook actually does a really, really good job of optimizing for you over time, but most people just don't give it enough time to let Facebook
Not even
optimize.
close. And then the last key takeaway from the last 6 months for me, which has been bidding down the funnel. BDTF.
What does that explain? Explain that real quick.
Bidding down the funnel is huge. And I'm going to tell you how to bid up the funnel too, what you just said. Likes and shares. Actually, let's have a sip.
Yeah.
To Gary.
I need some. There you go.
Corey Rudel.
That's the first info guy that Frank bought his stuff
That's
from.
right.
Yeah. He died in a car crash driving his Porsche into a telephone pole or something.
Wasn't that the guy from Fast and Furious?
Very similar story.
Or the guy from Jackass.
Did Corey Riddle have
That was a Ferrari, though.
That was Ferrari. Sorry. That
Here's
was
a-
a tree, too.
Here's a key indicator. Did Corey's product have 3 names?
I don't know what his
I
product
could
was
probably
called
look it
off
up.
the top of my head,
Super
but
Info Profits.
something like that.
He was OG, though, so I don't
Yeah.
know. He probably just had one name.
Yeah.
He can get the domain name.
It was just called like Rudel Bitches.
Yeah.
So basically,
BMS, buy my shit.
Oh,
That's cool. I like that.
BMS
Still
method.
3 words.
Bowel movement syndrome. I like it. Buy my shit.
Carry on.
Curious how much of this is actually going to stay in the podcast.
All of it. Go on. It's
So,
going to be a bitch.
so bidding down the
edit.
funnel is this. Remember when I said your budget should be set to the level that you can get 7 to 10 conversions per day. And you have to let 50 conversions happen or so. And this is not guru shit. This is what Facebook tells you. There's a Facebook group I want you to link in the show notes. That's awesome. No one knows about it. There's like 12,000 members. It's Facebook engineers do live streams and explain the algorithm and how it works and how to bid in the auction system.
I'm not in that
There's
group. I need to be in
there's
there.
4 videos they have already, and it blew my mind. I watched them twice.
Nice.
And now I notice, like, I looked at all the Facebook gurus. None of them are in the group. It's from Facebook.
Interesting.
So now some of them are. Don't be. But here's bidding
Hey,
down.
Jenny DeRose, if you're listening, go join that group.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll tell you about it.
She already probably is. She's a ninja. So bidding down the funnel is this. Let's say I can afford to get 10 leads a day, so I can spend $50. I do that for a week. I start to get 45, 50 leads. I'm like, cool. I start to increase my budget, and it's working. Well, now I think about, Facebook, it doesn't mean they're working against you. It's a super emotionally agnostic robot. They don't care about you, but they don't care against you. That's the thing. It's just it's a machine learning algorithm. So they're going to give you the people that are most likely to become leads, which means people that are likely to opt in. Doesn't mean those are likely to be your clients. Right. So bidding down the funnel is saying, once I get my budget up to where I can get 5 leads a day, then I'm going to bid on webinar registrations. Once I get 5 of those a day, because my budget is, let's say it costs me $10 for someone to register a webinar, $5 a lead, and let's say it costs me $20 for someone to show up on a webinar, attend a webinar. Well, I'm going to start bidding on people to attend the webinar because my budget's big enough where I
So you're
can
targeting a different layer.
down the
basically.
funnel. I'm bidding down the funnel. What I bid most my ad sets now is for add to cart, meaning I tell the ad set to optimize for cart views, which means they've signed up for something, they've registered for a webinar, they showed up on a webinar, they stayed to the end, they saw an offer, they went to the shopping cart. Doesn't mean they're my best customers, but they're the damn closest thing because I don't have
right there.
yet $8,000 a day or whatever, which I'm trying to figure out how to get to.
You'll get there.
In the next 90 days, that's my goal, is to bid for purchases. When you can reach the holy grail by slowly increasing your budget to where you can bid all the way down the funnel. This is why e-commerce works on Facebook. This is why Paul was doing 100K
Right.
plus a month, because his offer is, here's an ad, here's a sales letter, it's $17.
Yeah,
Well,
27. But yeah.
$27. Well, at the time of this printing, it could go up to a monthly membership.
Well, we don't need the name of the product, so it's
buy
all
it
right.
now. Yeah, it's not designer. So
Not at all.
With 2 R's
yeah,
and no E at the end.
with no affiliate link in this podcast. But no, but it's just the reason why that works is because you get feedback right away. There's no risk. What's the risk of saying I spent $100 today, I made $150? The risk is if you're doing a huge like consulting thing where they have to take, it's about the sales cycle, the duration, where they have to they become a lead today, and in 60 days they become a client. It takes me 60 days to get ROI on my advertising, which is why you, not to be a nerd, you adjust your attribution window for your ads. So you're measuring your ads based on the sales cycle you have. So you tell your ad set to optimize 2 things: the goal, the conversion event, the pixel event to optimize for, leads, conversions, cart views, purchases, whatever. Then you tell the timing. So if I'm bidding on leads, I'm going to say optimize for 1-day clicks, because if someone clicks on an ad and they don't register for a webinar or download something, it's unlikely they're going to click and then like sit there on their computer for a week.
It's a smaller cycle.
Yeah. The sales cycle to become a lead is like a second.
Sure.
But for purchases, I might do 7-day because I'm giving Facebook a whole week to measure what happens, and then at that interval, they're going to look back and say, these are the people that over 4 or 5 days, 6 days became customers or leads.
Right.
So that's a big thing. So bidding down the funnel is huge. But if I could tell someone, the first thing, like the simplest thing to do right now, put your whole Facebook budget in one ad set. Put 3 or 4 ads in there, a scrolling video ad or an image ad and a video ad. Let Facebook determine which ad is going to work the best. They're better at it than you are.
Yep.
Put your whole budget in one ad set, and Facebook is going to find, based on that budget, over time. Wait for 50 conversions before you touch anything, because that's the learning phase. Let them figure it out.
So sorry if there was a little bit of audio issue there. We just realized it, but
What other selfish stuff could we ask Aaron?
all right. So I want to know,
And for everyone else too.
all right. So we kind of understand your Facebook ad strategy now. You're sort of bidding down the funnel. You're sort of bidding for each metric you want, and then as that metric works, you bid for the next metric you want.
Yep.
All right. So getting somebody into a membership site, how do you actually pitch a membership? Like, how do you pitch somebody on? Because the hardest thing to sell is something that's a recurring price.
Right.
So how do you actually pitch that recurring price and make it sound like a benefit to them?
Easy. You pitch it as once and charge them twice.
How does that work?
Explain deeper.
You don't tell them it's a membership. You just say it's $10 and
then you bill them without telling them?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No,
That's great.
it's all juxtaposition, right? So here's the thing. I have to say this with a huge caveat, is that I got the best results of my life when I stopped doing. So here's the thing. There's ads running every day on Facebook that assume customers are really fucking stupid. And it took me a while to know that they are, but they assume
That's a knee slapper.
No, it assumes that a lot of them are stupid, and the point is that it's like we do these marketing things that we don't think about. And I zoomed out and I was like, what would happen if I never said buy this by Sunday at midnight? If I never had a fake countdown timer, if I never had fake scarcity and urgency, and I just said, here's what I do, and I actually say that. I say, you can buy it now for $49, or you can buy it in a year. Maybe it'll go up a little bit, but probably $49. You know what I mean? And I kind of just looked at, like, right now on Facebook, I look and people I know are like, I've seen an ad from a guy in Australia that it says, like, get this plan. It runs out today. And it said it runs out today for like 6 months. That makes you just look like shit. It makes you look stupid. And it makes you untrustworthy.
Yeah.
So to pitch a membership, I just said, here's exactly the way. It's like us versus them, the old way, the new way. I'm like, here's the way the marketing world usually works. I go make a course that solves one little problem that you have and sell it for $2,000. And then I spend all my money, and I go make another course that solves a little problem you have, and sell it for $2,000 or $997 or whatever. By the way, the 7 at the end doesn't actually. There's not a real study.
We don't put 7 at the end of our products. We're 9s at the end of our products.
Yeah,
okay.
I put mine's 997.9.
You like more money than 7.
Yeah. Ours is $99 a month. So
Ours is $49. Like, oh shit, the annual's $297. But
Messed up.
It's just like the real juxtaposition is this. Here's the way the normal space works. The problem I'm trying to solve for you is to actually get results and follow a clear path. So again, I said the membership should be pitched based on a path with an outcome, not just a general membership, but you're going to learn these skills in this amount of time. And or if it's an evergreen like newsletter, great. But every month we're going to give you one specific outcome that you can put in your business right away. And instead of charging you a whole course around that, we're going to give you these courses and this right now. And so instead of charging you 10 grand, we're going to give it to you for a small monthly fee. You can quit whenever you want. So I'm taking away the risk. But that whole stacking thing, Russell and everyone else does is like that works if it's legitimate, right? So I open up my membership and I say, here's the content I created, and people want to know why. So instead of charging you $1,000 to learn webinars, $1,000 to learn Facebook ads, yada yada yada, I just put $8,000, but not bullshit guru stuff, value, real $8,000. But to charge separately, I'd have to create 8 funnels, 8 Facebook ad campaigns, 8 return policies, 8 customer service tickets, like all this mess. I'm like, I'm going to put it all in here, and you can get it all now. So juxtaposition is what sells the membership. So it's not that people want to buy a membership. They want to be locked in to paying an ongoing fee for something they don't see the value in that doesn't solve a problem. They don't want another thing on their credit card. But you can think about what the opposite of that is. You're saying, well, if you don't want to pay $49 a month, cool. You can get it all for $8,000.
Right.
So the risk is on you to offer a membership. The risk is on you to not charge $8,000, but it's worth doing in volume because most people are good people that actually implement, that stick around, that don't try to steal your stuff. And you win with the lowest barrier to entry. So I literally show them, here's everything in the value, and I'm going to give it to you for $49 today. You can cancel whenever you want. Right.
So just a question that it's something that we, everybody with continuity deals with, and we'll wrap up probably pretty close after this, is keeping people. So retaining your customers. Do you have any things that you do to make sure that people stick around for more than a couple months or a month after they see all your content?
This is a huge membership takeaway. There's a couple things you can do. Number one, give people a reward for buying up front because you can do your best work for them. They're committed. If they pay annually, you can do things like not only give a discount, give additional content, don't drip content. So the number one reason, Stu McLaren says this all the time, the number one reason why people churn out of memberships is not lack of value, it's overwhelm. It's counterintuitive. I'm like, I'm going to give you everything I have, and then they're like, you gave me everything you have. And they feel bad that it's a lot to go through, and you're like, this sounds kind of hard. I'm going to cancel.
Right. Yeah,
so
I see that.
Reward the heck out of it. Secondly, drip it if that works better for you, because sometimes I talked to a customer today. He tried the all-you-can-eat thing. It didn't work as well. It's weird. He tried to offer people weekly coaching to help them and all of his content up front, and he got higher cancellations than when he dripped his content with no coaching. So it's like it's counterintuitive that sometimes what's better for them is not perceived to be more valuable to them. It sucks because you know it's going to work better.
Our instinct is to like give them
over-deliver.
as much as possible, over-deliver. Yeah.
The other thing is a term like so. The Facebook dude Dan Henry said that when they sign up for a payment plan, they're not signing up for a monthly cancel when you want. They're financing a contract. His terms and conditions say you can pay for the whole thing for $1,000, or you can go pay $97 a month. And this sounds really weird for the online marketing space, but everybody else does it. If they don't pay, he has a collections agency.
Good for him.
Because they're not signing. They're not signing up to pay for 1 month. They're signing a contract and financing it, and he's taking all that risk. And then they take all his content and don't pay. Anywhere else in the world, you can't like get your iPhone and go, I paid 2 months.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm out.
So
Cancel me, please.
That's an extreme measure. And the whole point is like, what's the phase is like avoid it in the first place by making it so attractive to buy up front and by dripping content or not giving bonus content or doing stuff like that. And then when you get cancellations, like, okay, well, why are people churning? Do they have a bad user experience?
Yeah.
Poll your audience and say, we always say, why are you canceling? And unfortunately, most time it's a false start. If people cancel before going through the content, that's not, to me, a bad customer experience. That's someone who didn't want it in the first place.
They don't have priorities straight.
Yeah, or they were just like felt it at the time. So in a way, higher prices ensure a better match in the first place.
Yeah,
So
we're so used to the concept of the risk reversal, right? So we're so used
you're
to
taking
like
on all the risk.
Yeah,
right?
we're so used to like all right, you can get in for 30 days, no questions asked guarantee, all that kind of stuff. Reverse the risk to get in, where that sort of Dan Henry method you were just talking about is like, no, you're paying for a year, and if you don't keep on paying, I'm going to send a collections agency after you. Like, I don't quite understand how in the sort of environment that we work in, how that even sells, but he's a success story.
I don't think he says pay or I'm going to send collections. I think he uses collections for people that don't pay. It's different. It's not like a risk reverse, like if you don't pay, I know where you live. Like, that wouldn't be good.
But I mean, we're so used to like pitching it as like, all the risk is on us. It's $99 a month. You can cancel any time.
And people take advantage of all that risk, and they go, I tried it for a month. So you already have one key to the equation, which is sending a physical thing.
Right.
That's harder to turn. Like, traditionally, people know that's a stickier thing.
Well, it prevents refunds for sure. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily prevent churn, but it prevents refunds, because if somebody was to say, hey, I want a refund on this, we'd say, cool, send it back. And nobody ever does. We've never had a refund on it.
Which would be really cheesy for them to do that. But so let's zoom out and look at one thing. I think is the biggest takeaway is lifetime value of a customer. People think, I want to have a recurring business. I don't want to sell things up front. But the truth is, the fact that it's upfront and recurring doesn't really matter if the lifetime value of a customer is less. In other words, if someone signs up for a product recurring and they stay for 3 months and your annual people pay for 6 months. Yeah. Would you turn that up a little bit, bud? Thanks.
He's good.
Teenage sounds are great. So that's a big thing is like, do I care that I have a subscription-based business if my customers pay me way less?
Yeah.
So one thing you can do is just timing. You can say, if you do a webinar and pitch your membership with a product, you can say, it's for only $500 now. You get it for $500 per year. You get all this stuff. Then you can always come back 2 days later and say, oh, there's also a payment plan. You can de-emphasize the plan.
Yes.
Or just offer so much more value for people that stick, that are serious, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, if your average customer is paying you $99 a month and your average customer sticks for 3 months, your lifetime value is $300.
Yeah.
If you sell an annual option for $500, you're up on majority of your customers.
Yeah. I had a 3-month argument with a CFO of a startup I worked at in Silicon Valley. Thanks, Ben. And so I worked.
Microphones cut out a lot of noise, luckily.
And so and he was like, I was like, if you charge a 2-year contract, let's give them half off.
Yeah.
Because we were selling online advertising to attorneys, and it's like, give her $2,000 up front instead of $4,000 to pay monthly. He's like, but we're losing $2,000. We'll go out of business. Like, no, your current lifetime value is 7 months, right? I'm saying you're going to get that up to 2 years or 1 year equivalent by giving half off. You're adding, what's 12 minus 7?
12 minus 7?
5.
Yes.
There you go. So you're giving 5 months more. You're increasing your value by almost like 40% by doing that. So it's about knowing the whole moral of everything, whether it's advertising, offers, webinars, like what are the few numbers you have to know is like, what does it cost to get you to acquire a customer? And what's that worth to you? And then reverse engineer, okay, so what does it cost me to acquire a lead or prospect? And what is that worth to me? And that's how you really do advertising successfully is know, like, I'm going to pay Facebook for a lead, $5. If I know that lead's worth $8, I'm going to keep the ads running.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then you work to increase the LTV. What most people do with advertising is they're working to drive down the incremental cost per lead. They think like, I'm getting dollar leads. They're working to drive down leads instead of drive up LTV. Andrew Tweedo, my data scientist buddy, says this all the time. It's like, focus on making your average customer worth more by offering additional coaching or training or products to those customers. Make your customer value greater, which allows you to spend more in advertising. I can't remember when I looked at my cost per lead. I don't care anymore because
you're way higher.
I'm just looking at like, if I'm spending $2,000 a day, if I know that I'm making $3,000 or $4,000 a day, and hopefully if I go on vacation and realize I lost all my savings, that's different. So you have to look at it. But that's really the moral of the story is focus on 90% of your energy on that foundation, knowing who your customer is and your offer, creating a visual map. Know what you're willing to pay for a customer. Your customer value doesn't matter if you're charging recurring or one time, and tweak all your offers to reward people for paying up front.
Cool.
Bam. I think that was a masterclass in everything continuity
Yeah.
and selling with cold leads.
Well, I think.
Imagine if we did it sober.
Yeah. Well, next
this
one we
this
will.
would have been better. This was
Sober
better.
marketing podcast. I think that should be it.
Is Sober Marketers
just
podcast?
lame.
Never sober.
No. In fact, we've actually talked prior to this about doing a podcast where we're always drunk.
Well, if we had a sober
So-
podcast, my wife would not be mad at me right now for being wanting to be somewhere else.
I was supposed to look at a house at 3, and I just got 100 calls. Like, where are you?
Your son's here to go to the
I was
airport.
supposed to take him to the airport.
I'm not working out like I was scheduled to do by my trainer.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. So
No, Matt's gonna be stuck in traffic now.
Yeah, that's
and we probably got a lot more info out of you. So
But-
it's all good.
very cool.
Maybe
All right.
stuck in traffic would be a good name.
Stuck in traffic.
That
Yeah.
could be fun.
All right. So
Don't be drunk.
What about pumpkin chunkin'?
Pumpkin chunkin'. We watched videos on it earlier.
YouTube it.
All right, so wrapping up, just because I know you got to take your kid to the airport, and Joe has to get somewhere, and I just got to go sit in traffic for a while. Wrapping up, are there any current books that you're reading right now that you'd recommend to people? First of all,
I recommend the same one for people to get started up and scaling. For people just starting out, I always recommend Ask.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because nothing's better than figuring out from a target audience the problem you should be solving for them, getting clear in their language and the one currency you solve. So part of our program, we tell if you don't have existing customers, stop, go do an Ask survey, and then we can help you scale that. Number 2, The Automatic Customer by John Warlow, because he talks about
that's a new one to me.
no matter what bit, or read it, it's awesome. From florists to Amazon to coaches to SaaS companies, he talks about the top 5 recurring models in business and the metrics you should know, and basically challenges anyone to say, show me why you can't have a recurring business. Any business on the planet should be looking at a way to do a recurring model.
Right.
I agree.
Doesn't it make life so much easier?
It does. We're here right now. I mean,
You want to talk about like income,
Predictability,
consistency,
Yeah.
job stability, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like create
Yeah,
continuity.
if you're an entrepreneur out there, or if you're an employee, that is, and you're looking for stability,
Yep.
true stability comes with continuity,
It
not
totally
your
does.
day job, not your
I work
one-by-one
out
client.
twice a year like clockwork.
Yeah.
Continuity works.
But your gym membership gets it monthly.
Oh, they love you.
That's a
They
good
love
point.
you.
And why don't I cancel? Because I know that I'm already spent this much. It'd be a big waste.
Yeah.
You know,
I
to
feel
leave
so much
fatter than I
better
should
And
have.
if I cancel,
gym
I'll get a lot fatter, so I shouldn't cancel.
I'm telling you that cross-fat is the best model there is.
I saw that YMCA card in your wallet. So
All right, so last question then.
All right.
Where should we send people after listening to this?
To Union Tap Room Bar down here.
All right, come meet up with us. We'll be at Union Tap Room Bar. We're not going to leave for the next 6 months because we're expecting you.
Cheers, guys. Pleasure.
All right, man. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
But go to Fletcher Method. What's the Fletcher Method website?
Fletcher Method.
It's called fleshmonster.org.
Fleshmonster.org.
He said it. He said it.
Oh, all right. Well, Google Fletcher Method and the logo kind of looks like a sperm. Just look for that logo. You'll know you're in the right place.
Shooting into your wallet.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Hey, thank you for listening to this podcast. Now, if you want to learn more and hear from us every single month, which a lot of people do, it's pretty fun. We actually write this thing called the Evergreen Profits Letter, and that is a printed newsletter that we actually send to hundreds of people every single month to your doorstep, so you actually get it in the mail. You can read this sucker, you can highlight it, you can dog ear, you can scratch some stuff out if you don't like that one. You say, no, Joe and Matt, that's not cool for me. But you can take a lot of different strategies, about 15 or so from every single issue, and it's really cool. So basically, these are actionable strategies that you can use in your business right away to test out and pretty much build on what you already have going on. So check it out. It's at www.egpletter.com. It's pretty amazing. And yeah, go check it out. See what it's all about.
Boom.